Well, it's gonna get hot tonight. Moon is shining bright.
Hello, this is Tom Rush. He will be playing at the Hall December 2nd, Friday. And I'm Fred Ames. I'm with the Oaks Ames Hall. And Tom, we're very much looking forward to you coming back to the Hall. This will be your third time.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and Andrea, I think she said the last time was about 7 years ago. And I know you came, I think, in the early 2000s, whatever they call it, you know.
Yeah.
And it was our first time doing it, and you were one of our first acts. And I remember afterwards you kind of took me aside, and your concern was, how is anybody going to get down that fire escape with all those tables there?
Right.
And you pointed out a few other things. So
I'd
you were very
that part.
instrumental, if you will, in our learning curve to put on these performances. So I just want to tell you, everything you've recommended has been done.
Good.
So this is going to be a fundraiser. We've been closed for 9 months, which we had some truss repairs that had to be done, and if they hadn't, the roof was going to fall in. So that has just been finished. So you decided that you should be the opening act to commemorate.
I'm honored.
Oh yeah. Well, we're very glad. We're very glad. You know, you've sold out every time, and we're certain that will happen.
Me a sellout? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know,
where you're
there's I've thought about that. Should I ask you? But well, I don't know who you sold out to. Tom Rush, I guess, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. And I just want to let some people know about your career, and you started back in the early '60s. You knew at that point Joni Mitchell, Jackson Browne, and I think did you write a couple of songs for Joni Mitchell? Do I have that?
No.
Oh.
She wrote a couple that I was the first to record.
Oh, yeah, Circle.
Way back when.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm calling this 2022 my 60th year on stage because my first album came out in '62.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And I clearly had been playing for 1 or 2 days before my first album came out.
Right.
But that's when I start the clock. So
you're professional.
This is my 60th year on stage.
Well, that's incredible. And also, people who want to do a little Googling a Tom song, there's a song that I always liked, and I think the last time you did it, I came up and spoke to you about it. It was really, you could hear a pin drop, in the room when you did it. And that was No Regrets. And I'm sure everybody says it's an incredibly poignant song, and I hope you'll be playing it on Friday.
I will make a plan to do that.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, and also the other thing about your concerts is you have such a nice patter in between. You're a great raconteur. And it's really nice. It gives a very good feeling to the concert, And
one of the things I learned early on was that if people like you, they're much more apt to like the song you're about to play.
Yes.
So I would, for me, the songs are stories.
Yeah.
So I would, I'd start telling a story about the song. This is a song I'm about to do, and here's where it came from, and blah, blah. Or just totally unrelated stories. And it strikes me as odd, but I get requests now for the stories.
Oh, I've got one. You and Jackson Browne under the table, and you hadn't seen each other in months, and he asked you about a certain individual.
Oh, that one, yeah.
God, and it's really typical. That's how it goes, right? So
yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you got many more, but I can say they're very good stories.
I'm going to tell folks, come see me at tomrush.com.
Yeah.
And there's actually, if you click on shows, there'll be a drop-down menu with all the upcoming shows, including the one we're talking about,
yeah.
And there'll be a link straight to the ticket page.
Great. Yep. No, and we were all set up on our page too. Just go right in, buy your tickets. It's very, very easy to do. I want to say a word though about the Spire Center too. This place.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with it, and recommend that people come and check it out. I mean, I really like it.
It's a great room.
It's a little bigger than the hall. We're about 200 and something. They're like 250. Including the balcony. But I've looked around and they've had some, I would like to, have Peter Wolf come to the hall sometimes. Yeah. But, so anyway, what was about your music? I mean, what was the first song you played or the first song you learned and why?
Oh,
and what type was it? Was it a pure folk?
That's going to go way back.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, There was an opera singer, a black opera singer named Paul Robeson.
Oh yeah,
Baritone.
Yes.
And I just loved Paul Robeson.
He did Old Man River, right?
Yeah. And among others. And
Sure.
For a little while, I wanted to be Paul Robeson, but my voice hadn't changed yet. So
I don't think you've gotten there yet.
I was
right?
still an alto.
Okay.
I couldn't do baritone. And then Josh White, I encountered Josh White. I'd learned to play the guitar a little bit at this point, but I was playing mainly trying to learn the rock and roll songs, because this was the late 50s when Elvis and Fats Domino and the Everly Brothers and all those folks were huge. And so I was working on those songs, and on a trip across the country with my parents, I remember I was 16. I remember because they let me drive for the first 2,000 miles. And I finally realized I was being had.
The thrill wore off, right?
It was like, yeah. But we stopped in Wyoming, and the people that we were staying with had some Josh White recordings. And I was just knocked off my sock. It just knocked my socks off.
Yeah.
Because I'd never heard songs like that. I'd never heard a guitar played like that.
Okay.
So then I wanted to be Josh White, which also didn't work out all that well. But
well, I read an interview, of you, and your style really was a mixture of those different genres, right? You took a little from each, and that really gave you your own distinct style.
Yeah.
That's
what's
that?
I'm a very versatile thief.
Well, isn't that what music is? Everybody steals from everybody.
Right? I really got into it when I was a student at Harvard. And there was a folk scene going on that was just amazing.
Yes.
And one place in particular called the Club 47 that brought in the legends. And they would also host the young kids, myself included. But
oh, really?
You could go and you could hear the Carter family.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, Flat and Scruggs and Bill Monroe and a lot of the old blues guys. Most of my contemporaries in town were kind of musical specialists. There were people that did nothing but Woody Guthrie songs, and people that did nothing but Delta blues. And I was the generalist.
Yes.
Because I would pick, I like that song over here, but I like this one over there, and I would
put them together.
Put them together in a show, and it helped keep me awake. And I think the audience
keep you
engaged, because the next song is not going to be like the one you just heard.
Yeah. So it's like doing the weather. If you don't like it, just wait. It's going to change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is a good scene, and I think Club 47 is still open, and it's not.
No.
What's the one with the long tables? And everybody sits at long tables.
Well, I think the club you're thinking about is called Passim.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
Club Passim, but they are actually genetically unrelated.
Okay.
Club 47 closed, and the room was dark for a couple of years. It was a Dukakis campaign headquarters.
Okay.
For a couple of minutes, and then Bob and Rayanne Donlin came in and opened the Club Passim, and they would actually get very annoyed if people coming down the steps would say, "Is this the Club 47?" They'd say, "No."
Yeah. No, that was
Passim. And I'm sticky about that because I now own the name Club 47.
Oh, really?
And I do concerts under that name.
Are you kidding?
I put together a couple of well-known artists, or established artists, and a couple of newcomers that are musically compatible, and then I coerce them into playing with one another.
I think you're good at that. Yeah.
Not just doing their own, their own set.
Sure.
And they're a lot of fun.
Easy to remember.
Matt Nakoa, check him out. Matt, NAKOA. .com.
Yeah.
And he's a monster talent, and I've been blessed, but having him as my backup guy for about 8 years now.
Yeah, all right.
But he's got his own career going, and I'm not going to have him forever because he's going to be a superstar. And I'm hoping when he's playing stadiums, he lets me open the shows.
Well, I loved your comment about here I am, paying this guy to upstage me.
Yeah, what's wrong with me? No, he'll be doing a couple of songs on his own during the course of the evening.
Okay.
And the audiences just love him to bits.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And also we've got a nice 1937 Steinway. We keep it tuned, and we'll tune it the day of.
Very cool.
And I think he's going to like it. It's a nice. We're very proud of it. So it's got a good sound to it.
He will love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's about it. And again, we are very pleased and honored to have you back.
Well, it's an honor to be opening the hall again after some downtime.
Yes, and fundraiser, because in about 2 years we're going to try to raise a substantial amount of money to do a complete interior and updating of the hall. You put in an elevator, central air conditioning, sort of do the first real modernization since 1881. Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time. So
Quite a project.
yeah, so this is good. This is really sort of a kickoff to that whole process. So,
Well, I'm honored to be involved in this.
well, thank you. It's good and look forward to seeing you soon. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Okay. Signing off.
Hey, Tom Rush here. I'm coming to Northeastern Mass, and it's going to be at Oaks Ames Memorial Hall, a wonderful hall. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I have Matt Nakoa with me. Matt is a monstrously talented young fella. He'll be backing me up, but he'll be doing a couple of songs, 2 or 3 songs on his own during the course of the evening. He steals the show, and I pay him to do it. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, come on by.